All right, so let's see here. We are live, and then we click this. What is up, guys? It is the Sports Nerd Brad Walker, and welcome to the Walker Report, part of In the Zone Sports Talk Radio. Hopefully, everyone out there is having a good Thursday evening, guys. We're one day away from the weekend being here. The weeks go by fast. I cannot believe that we are going to be in July very, very soon. Middle of June, hopefully, everyone out there, the weather is starting to get warm here in Florida, where it's 90 degrees, rain coming. So that is that. Real quick, guys, if you want to get some In the Zone Sports Talk Radio here, head over to squadlocker.com, type in the Zone Sports Talk Radio, and that will give you the store to buy your gear. They have hats, shirts, and the whole McGinley over there as well. The Walker Report, guys, is sponsored by CreatingZenSpaces.com. It is the current and local choice in St. Petersburg, Florida for house cleaning, organization, decluttering, and pet sitting. It's about finding peace within you and adding comfort to your life. And guys, remember, Zen Spaces begins with you. Be kind to yourself and one another. And guys, if you do want to see this show live, you're here. If not, we have a YouTube channel called The Sports Nerd Bradley Walker. Head over there to see this show in its entirety, and that will include also my show tomorrow night, the Sunshine State Sports Jabber, in their entirety. If you miss any of the show at all, we know everyone loves us, so we don't have to worry about that. But that's just a different story. Gentlemen, I already have both my great co-hosts on, Lewis and Adam. Good evening, gentlemen.
Good evening.
Good evening. Good evening.
So I'm going to start. This will be something that we can talk to Adam about, because I saw this the other day.
Yes.
He can't see the camera, but we are going to talk NASCAR. They are making changes to the cars. Did I hear that correctly?
Like what?
Something about slowing down cars after Joey Logano's.
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay. That is they're gonna. I didn't read that article. But they're gonna do something at the fall day or the summer Daytona and the fall Talladega race to try and slow the car. I don't know if they're putting a bigger. If they're bringing back the restrictor plates or if they're down tuning the motors again, a smaller spoiler on the car. I'm not sure exactly what they're doing, but they're going to do something to slow the cars down at Daytona and Talladega. The problem is that when they get sideways at 180 miles an hour, they're not scrubbing off enough speed in an incident so that when they turn sideways, the air still gets up underneath the side of the car and flips it over, which is what happened to Joey Logano at the spring Talladega race back in May? Yeah, I believe it's May. No, it wasn't May.
Yes.
March. Back in March.
April.
April.
It says he landed on his roof back in April. Yeah.
April. Okay. Yeah.
Go ahead.
I'm no engineer, so I don't know what I'm talking about.
Okay.
But in my opinion, the real problem with the cars is part of it is speed, of course. But there's when you get it's basically a wing at that point. When you turn it sideways at 180 miles an hour, the spring Talladega race, when he got sideways, he impact the wall and from off the seat. When he turned sideways and turned left, and he got down on the transition between the apron and the banking. And when he got in between, the air got up underneath the car, and when all that air, there's something they call the shark fin, which is on the left side of the car, and all that air passed on the left rear, driver's side rear. And when all that, in my opinion, when all that air is packed on the driver's side rear, it gets the right side of the car incredibly light. So when he's in transition and he's in between the banking and the apron, that's when the car takes off. Because all that air is packed down on the left rear wheel, which causes the car to come up. And I've watched a dozen flips in the last 10 years, ever since they put that stupid shark fin on the car. And I swear that every time that it gets turned left, there's a left impact, a driver's side impact, which turns the car to the left, it's gonna get airborne. It's gonna get airborne every single time the car gets turned to the left with any significant speed. It's getting airborne.
Yeah, it says right here, but that officials issued the rules bulletin to teams Tuesday afternoon, mandating a smaller tampered spacer for NASCAR's largest ovals, with the opening reduced from 57/64 inches to 53/64 inches. The rules also removed the wicker from the spoiler, and a reinforced roll bar that was previously optional behind the driver compartment and near the rear wheel well is now mandatory. So those are the things that are going to change on the car. That's what we're saying. Yep.
Because Logano was saying that it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when before it gets somebody.
And it sounds like to me, but that it happened to something similar happened to Ryan Newman back in 2020.
Yeah.
Daytona 500.
Last year.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I wanted to discuss that with you. That I saw that they were making changes to the cars. Like it caught my attention because I'll let you guys know. Like every day, if I see something that catches my attention, I save it and put it on here because I want to see what you guys' opinion is on it. Now, of course, there's some. I'm not going to call them dumb articles. Just something that's not that interesting. But this was something that caught my attention. That I'm like, okay, well, I know NASCAR's in the middle. Right? Is it in the middle of the season, give or take?
Yeah.
Are they in the middle?
Yeah. Yep. Last week was race 16. So there's 10. This week is the All-Star race, which is a non-points paying race. Exhibition to me in Texas. And then they have Nashville, and then it's the first race after the All-Star break, and then we come back with and then we finish out the regular season with Daytona.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So you have 10 races, 10 points paying races left in the season, in the regular season, I should say.
Right. Okay. All right then. All right, there you go, guys. The small changes that NASCAR is making to stop their cars from
and we won't.
Yeah.
We won't really see if it helps until we get to Daytona in August. And honestly, I don't know. I don't know what to do because even if you slow the cars down, you're not gonna. You have to have a way to scrub speed in a high speed collision. Even if you slow them down. Even if you slow them down to 190, if they're not scrubbing 20 or 30 miles an hour, if you hit somebody at 190, 192, 193, and you turn them, and they get sideways and they get on that apron and they get on the transition between the apron and the banking, they're still gonna flip.
Right.
If they're still doing, even if they're only doing 194, if they don't scrub 20 or 30 miles an hour off, they're still going to flip.
Right.
It's just the nature of the beast.
That's a pretty big beast.
All right. So let me go ahead, guys. We'll jump in.
Yeah.
The boxing news that I have is actually about. We could talk about the Mayweather Paul fight if you guys want to.
You mean the sham fight of the century?
Yeah. Well, the reason that I bring it up is it looks like Mayweather was trying to surpass Manny Pacquiao with $4.6 million in pay-per-view revenue, and I don't think he got it. I don't think he got it.
He's got enough money. I mean, he doesn't really need money.
He made $100 million on the fight, so I think he's doing all right. Honestly, I thought Paul looked okay at points. I thought that I don't know what anybody expected. It was an 8-round exhibition fight. It was glorified sparring, and there's only 2 rules in sparring: you hit as hard as you want to get hit, and you hit back as hard as they hit you. And I knew it was going to be nothing more than just a glorified sparring match. I don't know what everyone expected. There wasn't going to be, they weren't going to stand in the middle of the ring and swing for the fences. That's never been Mayweather's MO. And Paul is such a young fighter that I was not expecting crisp, clean, anything like that. I wasn't expecting high polished premium boxing, but I mean, it was still a boxing match. It was sanctioned. It was an exhibition fight. I don't know what anybody expected.
I didn't expect anything from it. Like I said, it was a sham fight. You weren't really fighting for anything, for any cause. I don't know what Mayweather's trying to prove. I mean, he's done everything. He has more. He's the undefeated boxing champion of the world. He broke Marciano's record. He has a gazillion dollars in his bank account. What more does he want? I mean, come on. This is just for a show. Nothing more than that.
Put on a good show.
It's ridiculous.
And, it wasn't. It was. The thing about it is, I was thinking about it earlier.
Yeah.
Was that everybody complains that there's no personality to boxing anymore. There's no one that excites anyone. And yet you have people like the Pauls come along, and they're brash and loud, and they talk all kinds of shit, and they make, they make noise, and they get people talking about boxing. But you have people that still don't want them, they don't want them around, and yet then they wonder why no one watches boxing.
It's funny, well, that's funny. I didn't mean to interrupt you, but it's funny that you brought that up because I was listening to local radio here in Tampa, and they said on there, why isn't it interesting how you can name 5 UFC fighters, but you can't name 5 boxers? It's hard for an average person to name 5 boxers. Where UFC, you can name 5 guys off the top of your head just like that. So you're right. They're drawing attention back to boxing by hosting these exhibition fights and all that stuff. So
and Logan's or Jake's got a fight in a couple of months or a couple of weeks. I think it's in July with what's his name? I can't.
Tyron Woodley, I believe.
Yeah, Tyron Woodley. Yeah,
Tyron Woodley,
the former U.S. lightweight.
Yeah.
Yeah, lightweight.
My show last week. I want you guys to know. Do you think it's a fair fight? I mean, really, you got one guy who's an experienced boxer, and you got another one doing UFC who has very little experience in boxing or none at all. So is it really a fair fight? I mean, because basically,
it's not.
It's your ass kicked.
It's to me, it's Woodley's mouth writing checks that his body can't catch. Man, Jake Paul is a cruiserweight. He fights at 190 plus, sub 200. Tyron Woodley has never, or Wheatley, I think his name is Wheatley, has never, I don't remember. Anyway, has never fought at anything heavier than 175.
Right.
And weight classes matter. I don't care that Wheatley, whatever his name is a former UFC lightweight title holder. It doesn't matter. You're still 20 pounds is 20 pounds. So either Woodley's going to come in underweight and they're going to fight at catchweight, or Woodley.
Yeah, but I was speaking.
Unless you're put on. You know what I mean? You don't put on 20 pounds of weight in a healthy
No.
way.
No.
It's
No, you
you know, I could see somebody coming down, and even then, and you don't come down from 190, 195 down to 175 in a healthy way. So Woodley's they're gonna fight at catchweight. Woodley will fight at 175, and right now they've got him listed at 190 on his Wikipedia page. But he's never fought at 190. He's always fought at 156 to 175, and I just don't think that's gonna be. To me, that's just a recipe for disaster. Because if he fights at 190, he's gonna fight 20 pounds over what he normally fights at.
Yeah.
It looks like, but it says that the matchup will take place at 190, the cruiserweight division. So that's what they're going to weigh it in at. 190. Yep.
190. I don't like it.
Yep.
I don't like it. I don't like it because you're fighting a full weight class above where you normally, or a weight class and a half above where you normally fight. It's one thing. It's one thing to go from lightweight to middleweight and fight at like 180. It's a whole. That would be two weights because lightweight and then you have cruiserweight. I don't remember how it goes. It goes lightweight, middleweight, cruiserweight, light heavyweight, and heavyweight is like 210 and up.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Woodley's Woodley is only 5'10", 5'11". He's somewhere between 5'9" and 5'10", 5'11". And Paul is at least 6'2". I can't remember, one 6 foot and the other 6'2". They're not exactly small boys.
No.
And I know that Tyson was a short when he fought at 110, or he fought at 5'10", but he always fought over 200 pounds. He was built like a brick shithouse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the dude could fight. The dude's natural heavyweight was 210 plus. So it wasn't like he was having to go. It wasn't like he was a natural 175 in a proper body. He was always big.
Right.
So I don't understand, when it comes to fighting, you take the matches that are available. People will say, well, they haven't fought a real fighter, or they fought is exhibition. Well, when it comes to boxing, you take the fights that are available. If that's all that's available, that's all that there is, and that's the fight you take.
Right. It should be interesting, nevertheless. I mean, it should be an interesting fight, nevertheless.
Yeah. And I think that I like Jake Paul. Jake Paul he's been boxing for 2 or 3 years now. I don't remember the last time that Woodley, whatever. God, I can't remember his name now. Was even in the ring.
Tyson Woodley.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't remember the last time he had a sanctioned UFC bout.
Right.
Yes.
And and the thing is that they announced the fight a couple months ago, but he's only had a couple of months to train. Jake Paul's been training for the last 3 or 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And it's not like he does. It's not like he's training in his in his spare time and on weekends. He's got the money and the time to actually get in the gym and train for 6 to 10 hours a day.
Right.
It's not like he's a construction worker and part-time boxer, and he fights one night or 3 nights a week for 1 hour. Jake Paul has been putting in serious time, and if his team is halfway decent, they've been putting in the time, not just in the gym, but in the film room, and helping him work on his technique and getting him set up and studying Woodley, what he does from the standing. what his strengths are, what he likes to do. You know, don't sleep. I've been saying it for 2 years now. Don't sleep on the Pauls. They are actually seriously dedicated. They talk a lot of shit, but I mean, how else do you get recognition? You know,
Yes.
if people don't want to fight you because you're a joke, you got to go out there and you got to poke the bear, because nobody, if the Pauls were to drop all the antics and drop all the sideshow Bob bullshit, no one would take them seriously because of all the sideshow antics that they've done for their entire career. They can't just drop it today and be like, oh, we're gonna go straight, we're gonna be serious, we're gonna take it seriously, because nobody's gonna. They're gonna be like, well, we're and everyone's going to expect antics. So you might as well play to it. Play it up. Be bombastic. Be brash. Be a-holes. And just live in the moment.
And Muhammad Ali did all of that. So
Yes,
look
he
what
did.
kind of career he had. Got poked the bear, aggravated people, hated the media. So
Yes.
he did the same thing.
Well, most athletes hate the media anyway, so
Yes, very true. That's very
can't
true.
blame- can't blame them.
You know, I was thinking about it. Like people pine for the days of Muhammad Ali and Joe Frazier and the 80s and the heavyweights, and it's like, well, if you want that kind of boxing, you've got to have characters. You've got to have loud, bombastic, brash, no unapologetic shit talkers. Like if you go back and you look at Ali, and everybody remembers the Muhammad Ali from after he retired. You know, the more mild, soft-spoken. But in his heyday, when it was him and Frazier or him and Foreman, he was always talking shit. He was always, you know.
I was able to remember that.
Yep.
And you know,
Who would not be afraid. He even starting with the first boxer he faced when he won the title. I can't remember.
Sonny Liston.
Sonny Liston. Yeah, Liston the same way. He talked shit to Liston before the fight. I'm gonna make you into a right there. Yeah. So yeah, he.
You know, and you know, and I understand people not liking the Pauls. I don't have a problem with you not liking the Pauls. I don't like the Pauls, but you know, if they can get interest in boxing and they can make people want to become boxers, and it can create a renaissance for the sport. You know, that's what boxing needs. Is they need characters.
Yeah.
You know, you need a bad guy. You know, you need somebody that's willing to wear the black hat and be that guy.
Yeah.
Oh, I agree with that.
Yeah, it's been a long time though.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
They don't make boxers like they used to.
No.
They don't box like they used to.
That too.
You know, back in the day, you know, back in Tyson's prime, back in the late 80s in Tyson's prime, he fought 15 times in a calendar year. That was more than one fight a month in the mid to late 80s.
Yeah.
Now you only get 3 fights a year. You fight once every 3 months.
Yep.
Well, there's a lot less wear and tear in the body though.
True.
I mean, you fight 15 fights a year. That can really do a number on you. No wonder by the time you're 35, you're out of it. Shoot.
Yep. Now legally, you're not allowed to have more than 4 sanctioned matches once every 3 months.
Right.
And that's if you're allowed. That's if you're even allowed to fight. There was that one guy that got medically disqualified, UFC fighter, a couple months ago. He's on the shelf for 6 months. He literally is not allowed to have a sanctioned fight.
Yeah. Okay.
Real quick, guys, we can go to tennis. Obviously, the French Open is going on as we speak.
Also coming.
And it looks like Nadal and Djokovic are actually playing on Friday in the semifinal. That's a shame that that's not the final on Sunday, that it's a semifinal match. Has there been any big upsets? I haven't been really kind of staying up with it.
Yeah, Serena's been upset. There's been quite a few. And there's been, well, of course, we know the dropouts. There's been a few other dropouts as well.
Yeah.
Did I see Serena? One of the Williams lost.
Serena, yes.
Serena did.
I don't really follow tennis. I can never get into tennis.
Yeah, I think what are they? A couple weeks? I think about a month away from Wimbledon.
2 weeks.
2 weeks from Wimbledon. Okay.
Well, as of Monday, in 2 weeks.
Okay.
So is the French Open over on Sunday then?
Sunday morning will be the finals for the men's.
Yep.
Okay.
So who's going to be in the Saturday final for the ladies? Has that already been determined already?
That has been determined because the semis were today. But
Okay.
I didn't get an update yet on who won it yet, though.
Let's take a look real quick and see who's in the final for the women's final and who of the winner of the Djokovic Nadal, who would they face? Hang on a second. Women's final. French Open. Let's see here. Oh. Okay. It is going to be two names that I cannot pronounce. B, and I'm gonna Krevchukova. I'm sure she's Russian or Czech, and the other one is A. Pavo Panachenikova. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly. Guys, sorry if I'm botching those names, but those will be the two that will. Their match starts at 9 a.m. on Saturday morning, so they're up and early. All right, so let's see what the men's semifinal. Okay, so let's see the two semifinal matches. We know one is Djokovic and Nadal. The other one is Zverev of Germany and Tsitsipas of Greece. So that'll be the winner. They're off tomorrow at 8:50 in the morning, and then Djokovic and Nadal are at 11:30 in the morning tomorrow morning.
Oh, okay.
So so we'll have a final by the time we get to what do you guys say, around noon or 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock tomorrow? We should have a finalist.
Yeah,
we should. Yeah, by then.
Okay.
Unless they go 5 sets, then you never know.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, you have to kind of factor that out that it could go 5. It could be a 5-set match.
They'll be all drained out by then.
Yeah.
That's another sport that has no theoretical end.
Nope, you're right. They can go forever. They can keep going.
They could just serve it up and never. They could be 0-0 for eternity.
Right.
Yeah. The first to drop dead loses.
Right.
There's a little funny thing on HBO, I think, called 7 Days of Hell, and it's a funny thing about tennis. Watch that if you want to talk about things never ending. That's that you could go with that one.
I'm gonna say it's Stanley Cup final, a Stanley Cup hockey playoff game, but then again,
Yes, a finals game that has no theoretical end. A playoff game has no theoretical end.
Right.
No.
But I was thinking more in terms of like a regular season match, like in baseball. Now, theoretically, a baseball game, you could start a baseball game in April and be playing that same game forever.
Yes.
You could have the first at bat go on for infinity. You could have
sometimes
a 3-2 count, and you can fall off an infinite number of pitches.
Yeah.
And the at bat have no theoretical end.
Yeah.
because you can't get out on a foul ball.
No. So let's put it this way: it's not 3-2; it's 3-2 and
Infinity.
17 fouls that are been off.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
3-2 and 18, another foul. 3-2 and 19. Okay, you're
3-2,
just trying
and
3-2, but no,
Hold up.
it's not 3-2, but in reality, it's a lot more than 3-2.
Yeah. Because
Yep.
theoretically, you that at bat can go on for infinitum, because because there hasn't been a recorded out.
No.
And same thing with tennis.
All
You
right,
can have
so let's see.
I was just gonna say you can
Yeah,
have
you
you
go
can
on
start
forever.
a set that won't. It's the set that does not end. Some people started playing it not knowing what it was, and I'll stop.
I get it.
So XFL co-owner Jamie Garcia dropped an intriguing bit of news in a recent email reply to E! News. She's asked about becoming the first woman in the United States to hold ownership stake in a major professional sports league. She says that they are months away from hitting the field. Now, remember, they're supposed to start their season in 2022.
Yes.
So we are getting closer to them starting their season. It looks like right now you have Garcia, Dwayne Johnson, and Redbird Capital were selected as the winning bidders last August for all the assets of Alpha Entertainment LLC, the parent company of the XFL. It cost $15 million, and the goal was to make the XFL a stable league in the future, which could be aided by an arrangement with the CFL, as we've already talked about that.
Yes.
The Rock has been excited for the unique opportunity that the CFL and XFL could potentially create together. The original XFL lasted one season in 2001 and just part of the season before COVID-19 put it on hold in 2020, which Vince McMahon filing for bankruptcy and selling Garcia Johnson and Redbird Capital. So again, they're very close. Again, as we get very, very closer to the XFL returning, being that we are now in June, so we have half a year before. I'm assuming that the XFL is going to start come January or February of next year.
Yeah.
I don't know why you'd want to do it before the Super Bowl. Yeah.
No, you
Well,
shouldn't.
they said months, so October? Are they going to try and move it up into 2021?
They might.
That'd be a big mistake.
Because
I don't know.
you would think, even though, because even though they're saying, I know that yes, I understand we're in June, but to me when you say months, I think 2 or 3, not 6 or 10. If they were still planning on, if they were months away, being in 2022, I would think they would say early next year. But if they're saying months away, are they going to try and get it going in October or November? Maybe.
Well,
or September or earlier? I don't know.
that wouldn't work. I mean, because then you'll get crushed by the NFL, though. So that wouldn't be a smart move.
Yeah.
I mean, there was a league a decade ago. It got very little attention. It was called the UFL. They did play around September, and that felt like a year and a half. It was a dumb idea. It was just didn't take off very well. So there's another league that failed.
Yeah, I would wait until I would start the week after the Super Bowl.
I would too.
Yes.
Good call.
Oh, or what I would do actually is I would start the week of the Pro Bowl. I would do week 1 of the Pro Bowl to have everyone. So you do week 1 of the Pro Bowl, and you have everybody on a bye week 2 for the Super Bowl, and then you come back the week after the Super Bowl with week 3, and then play the rest of the year out.
I don't know. Start the first week and then take off the second week. That doesn't fit well. Because if you take a bye week, that probably like more like a mid-season. I don't know if it's wise to just start one week and then stop and then start again.
Well, you'll be crushed by the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
No, you avoid the Super. You get to start on the NFL least watched week, then you skip the NFL's most watched week, and you come back after the Super Bowl when everybody's still hungry for more football, but there's no NFL to watch.
Right.
My question is, who's going to survive in this war between the USFL and the XFL? Who's going to be wanting to survive if they both survive at all?
No, I see both folding within 5 years.
Wouldn't it be funny if they're talking about the XFL and the CFL merging? Wouldn't it be kind of hilarious if they didn't end up merging all three leagues together to compete against the NFL?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because no, I'm just saying because that would be the only way that they would survive is if they had three leagues, all of their financial backing, because they're not catching the NFL in funding because NFL is $1 billion corporation, multi-billion dollar corporation.
And the three of these combined doesn't have to a dime.
And the XFL didn't make it the last few times. The USFL's been gone for a long time. It only lasted 3 seasons. Mm-hmm. And the CFL, I don't follow the CFL. I don't live in Canada, so I don't know how that operates and what their financial backing is in Canada. I don't know.
It's not nearly as strong as the NFL.
No.
And then we talked to that to death.
Yeah.
Is the idea you've got to have capital. That's what made the USFL and all the other startup leagues that ended up merging into other leagues.
Right.
The AFL, the WHL, the
WHA.
WHA. Thank you. That's the other one I was trying to come up with. They all had capital. They had money. Like Wayne Gretzky started out in the WHA.
Yes.
And he was I believe that was Edmonton. But he started out in the other league because they had the money to pay him. The USFL, the XFL, the CFL, they don't have the money.
Right.
Justin Fields is sitting there at 11, right? He goes to the Bears at 11. He ends up getting paid 18 and a half, or a little bit more than 18 and a half. I think it was like 18.75 million, 4 years, fully guaranteed. That might be in the entire budget for the entire XFL. Is $18 million, split among 10 teams, split among 50 guys. The XFL, the USFL, the CFL, they don't have the resources. They don't have the money. The Bears are one team paying, and they have a payroll, a budget of north of $175 million. The entire league of the USFL or the XFL or the CFL might have a budget of north of $175 million. You're talking about 10 or 15 franchises. And we've talked that, the problem is that you don't have the capital. You don't have the resources. You don't have the infrastructure built up to put on a halfway decent show. And you're not going to be, it's going to be, it's guys that are worse than Brian Hoyer out there throwing the ball around. Even Clipboard Torque doesn't want to go down there and play for the pennies that they're offering.
Right.
So a guy that could go ahead.
What would you call it if you merged the CXU SFL or the XU CFL, or what would you call it? You know what's going on with that. Come on, guys. You knew that.
No, that's cool. I mean, that would be interesting to see what concept they come up with.
Yeah. That's like a deformed radio station too, by the way. Oh boy.
What about
FL?
UXC,
UXC,
or UCX, United States Canada Extreme Football League.
Football League.
Yeah.
FL.
Yeah.
UCXFL. Yeah.
Yeah.
UCXFL.
There's a number of possibilities we can go
All
with.
today's hits. All of today's hits and yesterday's favorites on
Yes.
UXCFL.
Yes,
News
exactly.
and weather on the 8th.
I think it's a station in Toronto. If I'm not mistaken, no, Vancouver. That's right, Vancouver.
Vancouver.
If you don't like our music, that's too bad. We're the only game in town.
That's right. The hell with you.
Right. Well, guys, we had some comments coming
But
in
no,
Facebook. It's
Uh-huh.
kind of cool. This is Chuck. Chuck's been on the show before. The Bucks guy. He's been on here before.
Right.
And he was talking about how he saw Paul at least went the distance for publicity. He was talking about he said, "What's up to me and you, Lewis? Will Kevin Harvick win a race this season?" I guess I should ask Adam that question.
Yeah, I was wondering myself.
I have a question, but I have a question from a Facebook comment. Will Kevin Harvick win a race this year?
that's really weird. I don't know why I'm going in and out.
We can jump to soccer.
I think he might win
Yeah.
one race, but I don't know about anything else. But I think he'll win one race this year.
Yeah, Chuck was asking me, will Kevin Harvick win a race this season? Was the question. Yeah.
I wouldn't rule it out.
Alrighty. Well, and then real quick, guys, we'll jump to USA Soccer. I know they won over Mexico and they beat Costa Rica yesterday. I was actually watching it on ESPN at a sports bar. It was on TV. They won 4-0. Now, this is the men's team? So should we start to believe in this team, or is it just a lucky streak winner? I'm just curious.
I believe in luck.
Luck.
You know, a lot of people are going to underestimate them because the men's soccer USA, and of course they don't really, haven't done much. I mean, they lost the last. They didn't even qualify for the last World Cup. But with them being Mexico, even though at the end of the game or just before the end of the game there was a brouhaha in the stands, and
okay,
yeah, nothing like you see.
I thought that was a prerequisite of a soccer game.
Yeah, I mean, oh
my God!
Yeah.
Oh, don't make fun of soccer fans. Don't
Please.
make fun of soccer fans.
No, they don't need any help. They do that quite well on their own.
Right.
They're passionate people. Soccer fans are very passionate. I will give them that. I will give them that. They're very passionate fans.
They're the only fans that have started a war. So
True. That's very true. Very true. Very true.
Which reminds me, another tournament actually starts tomorrow.
Okay.
Let me guess. You're not familiar with Euro Cup, are you?
oh,
No.
okay.
I'm not. No.
I didn't.
Starts tomorrow.
Yep. First match is Italy versus Turkey. And I don't know about you guys, but I'm ready for it.
Did Chelsea win Premier League this year? I thought Chelsea won the Premier League this year. I could be wrong though. I don't know, but I thought Chelsea had won the Premier League this year.
Yeah.
Okay.
But this is a little bit more prestigious than Premier League. This is all the European countries battling each other, and I think the winner automatically does qualify for World Cup in 2020. 2020 next year. Yeah, it's next year. Yeah, so it's rather important. But I enjoy the Euro Cup tournaments. I've got into them for quite a while now, and they are exciting to watch, especially when Italy plays. So I'm ready for it.
So when England goes to a tournament like that, like the Euro tourney there, and all those players that play on like Chelsea and Liverpool and all that, is it awkward for them when they have to like play together, or do they embrace it?
Well, I would think it's a little bit awkward. I mean, you're taking the best players from those leagues, up against the best players from the other countries. So it can be a little awkward.
Very true. Real quick, we can talk about the MLS. The best team in the Eastern Conference is the New England Revolution. And they have Philly, Orlando City, New York City, Montreal, Columbus, Nashville, Atlanta United, NC Red Bull, DC United, Inter Miami, Toronto, Chicago, and Cincinnati. And in the West, you have the Sounders of Seattle, Sporting KC, LA Galaxy, Colorado, Houston, San Jose, Portland, Salt Lake City, LAFC, Vancouver, Austin, Minnesota, and Dallas is last. So that is the standings currently in MLS, and there are games going on. Let's see. The next game is scheduled for this Saturday, and that's KC versus Austin at 3 p.m. So it looks like they took a little bit of a break. They
did, yeah.
Sunday, May 30th. So they took a couple weeks off in between.
Well, a lot of those players are playing in the Euro Cup and all that. So that's
that would make sense. Okay, that would make sense of why they took a break.
Yeah,
okay.
I was thinking, we got a long break between now because I don't think we're playing until like June 18th. So like, why is it?
You're talking about the Red Bulls, Lewis? Yeah, they play June 18th against Nashville at 8 p.m.
Bunch of yahoos.
Yeah, the team that I cover on my tomorrow night show, they don't play until the 19th against Toronto at home, and that's the Orlando City. Yeah. Yep.
Are the Canadian teams playing in their area, or are they here in the U.S.?
There's a game in Vancouver on the 18th. Let's see where it says they're playing. No, it says Rio Tinto Stadium. Let's see where that's located. That is located in Utah. So they're not playing at home. They're not playing in Canada. They're playing in a neutral location.
Okay, because
yeah.
Yeah, I was wondering how the soccer teams based in Canada, how they're handling it, what they were doing. I was thinking about that.
Yep. So yeah, they.
I'm sure they were exempt.
No, I think the only people that are exempt are the hockey, and that's
it is.
Yeah. So.
I was gonna bring that up when we got to the NHL.
Yep. I have one golf story real quick that I wanted to bring up. The U.S. Open starts next week.
Yeah, I was kind of looking forward to that.
NBC has asked the great one himself, Tiger Woods, to be a correspondent in the booth, and he has turned that down. It doesn't shock me one bit that he would turn that. Tiger Woods.
Okay, I thought so, but I wasn't sure.
What's the situation on John Ram?
So there's no way I think he would have taken it anyway because he'd rather be playing. And had he not had a setback with him getting in a car accident, I think he would be playing right now in that golf tournament.
What's the situation though with John Ram? I mean, since he had to bow out of the Memorial. Because you heard what happened about that. As I was on the air last week, it happened, and they found out he had contracted what.
Yep.
And, he was in the lead by a considerable margin.
6 strokes.
No, 6 strokes.
Did you see his reaction when he came off 18 and they told him that he had COVID? He broke down. He's like, I can't believe this again.
I would believe it myself.
Yeah, again.
No, I mean, it's in the middle of the third round. You found out now that he has the disease.
Yeah, that's weird. Yeah, that's why do you wait after the round is over to tell him?
How stupid can you be?
I don't know if maybe the test results didn't come back or something, but
results.
He should have known. Long before coming off the 18th.
Right. In the third round, no less.
And again, think about this too. He lost millions of dollars because he was in the league. He had that tournament won. Had he had another good round, he'd have been his paycheck.
Yeah.
He lost a ton of money. He lost a ton of money by that. So yeah, I mean, I don't know. I guess if I think he has to be quarantined for 14 days. So I don't know if he would be eligible to play in the U.S. Open or not.
No.
Yeah, then no, I don't. I wouldn't see him there.
The U.S. Open starts Thursday next
Thursday.
week, so that would not be 14 days.
He may be. Well, the last time I had to go on a COVID leave from work, and I don't know, maybe golf rules are different, but I only had to quarantine for 10 days.
Well, I mean, if he quarantines for 10 and he tests negative, then there's a chance.
There's a chance.
Yeah.
The U.S. Open next week. Yeah.
So what you're saying is
because he tested negative on Saturday.
Right.
So if he quarantines starting Sunday, so 10 days would be all this week.
Reminds me.
Yeah.
There was a big name that qualified.
Ricky Fowler didn't qualify.
Ricky Fowler.
Missed it by one shot.
One shot. Well, as he used to say, that smart missed it by that much.
And the funny thing is, Phil Mickelson was going to take a special exemption to play in the U.S. Open this year, but then when he won the PGA, he's good for the next 5 years.
just give him one U.S. Open win before he retires, please. Before we die with Earthy first. He's
come close twice. He lost to Payne Stewart when he was younger, and then he hit a bad drive into the freaking, the crowd on 18 and cost him the golf tournament.
Yeah.
So, I hope he wins one too, I don't know. The U.S. Open is awful tough. That's a tough golf tournament to win. So I don't know. It would be great to see him win the PGA, then come back and win the U.S.
It's the only major he's never won.
Yeah, the only major he's never won.
We only have the 4 majors. I don't know if you want to count the Memorial or the Vegas or the Invitational. Then we do that. But the 4, let's just say the 4 original majors. We'll put it that way.
Right. He's won the Open Championship or British Open. I think he's won that once. He's won the Masters twice, and he's won the PGA twice. He's won the PGA Championship
5
twice.
majors.
So he's never won the U.S. Open, and Rory McIlroy's never won a Masters. So he's one major short of having a career Grand Slam.
He never won the Masters? Wow.
Rory has never won the Masters. He had a 5-shot lead in the early 2000s. He had a 5-shot lead in the final round and blew it. He fell apart in the final round of the Masters. Augusta ate him for breakfast. So,
not to sound this anything crazy, but the guy who won this was named Patrick Cantley. I wonder if his name was from the Betty. Nah, maybe not.
Should ask her that question.
When I talk to her, I think I'll ask.
She might be related to him.
I mean, it's not a really common name, so I thought maybe are you related to Patrick Cantley?
She might be related to it.
Or it's like if you're like Priestley. You're relation to Elvis Presley? Oh no.
So guys, today ended college softball. Yep. Oklahoma beat Florida State 6-2 to win the college women's softball World Series. I think the series was a best of 3.
It is,
and it took Oklahoma 3 games to get there. I think Florida State won game 1. I think Oklahoma won the last 2 games.
Yes.
If I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong. Okay, yeah, that's what I thought.
Right.
So Oklahoma won the last 2 games. They won 6-2 earlier today to win the college, the softball World Series. So again, that's outstanding. That and Oklahoma's been. Go ahead.
You want to know a weird thing? Last week there was a perfect game, but get this: the coach didn't know it was a perfect game. Even though there was a no-hitter. How do you not know your own team? Your own pitcher just threw a perfect game. How do you not know?
Well, and I want to say too, Lewis, that when she pitched the perfect game, I don't think she was even born the last time the perfect game had happened. She had, so she wasn't alive the last time there was a perfect game thrown in the Women's Softball World Series. So, yeah, it was – yeah, exactly. So
– if you're the coach, you should know. I mean, you are the coach after all.
I mean, as a manager or as a coach, if one of my pitchers is throwing a perfect game, I'm making sure that whatever happens, you stay away from that person or whatever kind of weird thing that they don't want, stay away. Like, don't go near them. Don't mess with them. Let them do their thing. I can think of For the Love of the Game with Kevin Costner when he throws the perfect game against the Yankees. That same thing, like they stayed away from it.
That's fiction. That doesn't really count.
Well, no, it doesn't count. I understand it's a movie, but I'm just going by. You stay away from the person. They space themselves out. So, yeah, I mean, it is what it is with that. But congratulations to the Oklahoma Sooners, the Lady Sooners, on winning the College World Series there in softball. The baseball is in the Super Regional round. And which means we are one round away from going to Omaha, where their World Series will begin as College World Series goes to Omaha, which is another. Yeah, college baseball reminds me a lot of March Madness. It's kind of cool to watch the College World Series and stuff like that. So here is what it is. The Fayetteville Regional will be Arkansas and NC State. And that's tomorrow at 6 o'clock. Arkansas. The Nashville Regional will face.
This is loaded in the NCAA. And he sends a drive in deep right. And go. Grand slam.
Sorry about that. Vanderbilt will play East Carolina. That starts tomorrow at noon. The Lubbock Super Regional, Texas Tech versus Stanford, that starts at 3 o'clock. The Tucson Regional is Arizona and Ole Miss. That's a night game tomorrow night. The Austin Regional, my boys, South Florida is playing Texas. That's Saturday. I would love for USF to beat Texas. Boy, that would be something to get to. First time that USF has been in the Super Regionals, it would be great to see them advance
to Texas.
Well, I mean, Texas is the number 2 team. They have their games are Saturday at 9, Sunday at 9 p.m., and then Monday if necessary.
But I have connection to Texas, though.
Yep. The Knoxville Super Regional is Tennessee and LSU, so you have 2 SEC teams playing against each other. The Starkville is Mississippi State at Notre Dame. That should be an interesting matchup there. You have the Columbia Super Regional is Virginia versus DBU. They are there. DBU. Who is DBU, by the way? Let me see who is DBU.
As I was asking you, DBU.
Dallas Baptist University.
Oh, Dallas Baptist. Right.
Dallas Baptist University. So they're one of those. That's got to be a pretty small school. So, again, how cool would that be for them to get to Omaha? Like, them and USF get to Omaha over Texas and Virginia. That would be interesting.
Vandy has a good baseball team. It's the only athletic sport they're good at. I mean, because football, they're horrible. Basketball, they're pathetic. Hockey, they don't exist. So out of the 4 college major sports, maybe soccer too, but they have a good baseball program. But other than that, Vanderbilt is pathetic in athletics. Yeah.
Yes, they are. Well, I mean, especially their football team.
The toilet. Yeah.
Yeah, their football team is pretty bad.
If they're playing one channel, I'm going to another channel. Ugh.
Well, they're one of those small. They're on the latter end of the SEC, and if they were ever to win an SEC championship, it would be shocking.
What happened in my lifetime?
Yeah, to say the least, it would be
never.
It would be shocking to see them win a SEC championship. In that, we can go ahead.
Maybe
we can go ahead, Lewis, and go to the NBA since I know that's going on right now. I'm watching Jersey and Milwaukee as we speak.
There we go.
So we just got done talking about the College World Series, about the teams that are playing in the Super Regionals.
Mm-hmm.
So there's some interesting matchups. DBU, who's DBU? We're going to ask you. Let's see if he knows who DBU is. Who do you think DBU is?
DBU.
DBU.
Dallas Baptist.
Yeah, Dallas Baptist
Yeah.
University. DBU.
I knew we had talked about them last week, but I couldn't remember.
Yeah. So the NBA playoffs are in the swing, as we see. The Nets are up over the Bucks 2-0, and they trail by just 3 points at the half.
That way earlier because in the first quarter, the Bucks were up 30 to 11 at the end of the first quarter.
Jesus.
Yeah,
They gave away a lot of points.
It's not-
Holy crap. That's a lot of points to give up.
Yeah, 30 to 11
That's
in the first
19.
quarter.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay. I kind of thought something was going to happen like this because Milwaukee is at home. The Bucks are better at home than they are on the road. So this is going to, I think, it'll be a tough task. Then as I looked ahead for the over here onto my left, I'm like, oh, this is now becoming a bit interesting here. I see.
Yeah. And then you have the Jazz and Clippers going, guys, at about the end of our show at 10 o'clock. And the Jazz currently lead that series 1-0. The
How are you going to do out Conley the rest, because Conley is out for temporary game 2. So,
Okay.
they are the best team in the league. But when you have your star player out, I mean, that could be a bit hard to overcome.
Yeah, it can be.
Yeah,
Then you
I always know when your best players are at the playoffs, that could be a problem.
you have Philadelphia and Atlanta tied at 1 game apiece. They're on tomorrow night. And then the Suns are up 2-0 over Mr. Jokic. Didn't he just win the MVP?
Yes, he did.
Yeah.
So
I'll tell you though, the coach was not happy. He's like, we just gave up. We just gave up last night.
well, I mean,
Mike Malone said that.
would it be an interesting final to see the Suns and the Jazz in the final? Because I mean, that's kind of looking the way it's
Yeah.
going to.
Yeah. I
Okay.
wouldn't surprised with that at all.
And I have the Suns. I have the Suns in the finals.
Yeah.
Okay. Against
I've had the
Nets or the
yeah,
Philadelphia? Okay.
either one.
You don't think Atlanta would pull off an upset, do you? Just off chance.
What's that series?
It's 1-1 with Philadelphia right now. So
Well,
They've got to win Game 3.
that's tomorrow
Trae
night.
Young,
7:30.
Trae Young stays the way he's been. The Nets might have a long, difficult series.
Okay.
Yeah.
Should they?
They've
should
got to
they
win. If they lose Game 3, it's all but over.
Well, not to guys to kind of jump ahead, but the NBA 2021-22 regular season will tip off on October 19th. It was
Good.
announced.
So that's getting back to pretty much normal.
Back
Yeah.
to normal for the
But the
NBA.
thing, that's only 12 weeks from your last game. And
Right.
you got training. Let's see, let's see. Okay, now let's break this down. The regular season is, the playoffs, if it goes all 7 games, will end, I think, July 19th, I think. Now, here's the other thing.
Yeah.
Training camp for the Olympics is going to open in Vegas. And that's going up July 6th. So now we got have we got a problem or have we got a problem?
Yeah, that is a problem.
It's a bit of a problem, yeah.
Yeah.
I forgot
What do
the
you do
Olympics
now?
were this year. Because normally it wouldn't. I would say you're only losing. It may be 12 weeks from the playoffs, but you're only losing about 4 weeks of recovery time.
Right.
Because the season only went about a month longer than it normally does, and it also started like 4 months later than it normally does. So you're really not. I think it balances out in the wash, but. With the Olympics coming up in August, that's a tough row to hoe. Because then you're losing the whole month in August of recovery, and you're not recovering. You're playing more basketball.
Right. So how?
Yeah, I don't know how the NBA is going to do that. I mean,
Yeah.
especially if you're now the guys that are not playing in the Olympics will be okay. But the
Right.
guys that are going to have another one of those short off seasons like they did this past year. So,
Well, that was
yeah.
no fault of their own. We can't, we can't do anything about that.
No,
Right.
no, I'm not blaming anyone.
No, the pandemic is totally different.
yeah.
Yep.
Well, they had a shorter season too. They didn't have an 80
They did,
season.
72 games.
70.
but it was only
But-
10 games shorter, not
Yeah.
almost 30 like the NHL.
Well, don't
So-
get me started on that mid-season tournament stuff because that I will not go for.
Well,
No,
That is ridiculous.
We talked about that last week that David Stern wants to implement that as a staple.
They've
Yeah.
Adam Stern.
Or Adam Stern, excuse me. Yeah. So,
That is dumb. That is dumb.
Yeah.
It's terrible. It's terrible. Like the playing, I understood it. I understood having the playing game this year
Yeah.
because you didn't have a full regular season. So it's
I
kind
get
of fun to have the first two out, plus the first two in and the first two out, having a chance to to battle get a couple extra games to play, and then letting the top 6 seeds have some time, have a couple extra days off.
Right.
And the really shitty teams were done, and so you had teams that they might be able to give somebody a battle.
right.
So that was kind of fun. But if we have a full 82 game regular season, we don't need tournaments in the middle.
No.
It's not like college basketball where you kind of need those mid-season tournaments to keep things exciting.
Yep.
Where when you have North Carolina play Duke and they play
Right.
you can only play Duke so many times before you want to see somebody else.
Yeah.
So having them play the Big Ten or having like a Pac-10 challenge, or the Pac-12 play the Big Ten and the
I
Big
like
Ten
that.
play the ACC
Yeah.
and it smells like rotten games. What if they fertilize the feed?
College hockey has something too.
Yeah.
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 Right.
Well, Adam, I think is familiar with it since he's from that area, so he knows.
Yeah, it used to be the old CHL or CCHA. I'm sorry, the CCHA tournament at New Year's.
No, I was thinking before that. I think it was called the Bean Pot Tournament, if I'm not mistaken.
I don't remember that.
Oh boy. Oh wait, you're Michigan,
I
right?
thought-
I thought you were
Yeah,
from Boston.
yeah.
I'm sorry. I thought you were from Boston.
No, not from Boston.
Okay.
Not your cousin from Boston.
The Beantown thing would make more sense for Boston than it would be for Michigan.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I made a mistake. I forgot where it was from. I thought it was from Boston, not Michigan.
No, I ain't from Boston.
Okay.
I ain't from Chicago neither.
What do you guys think of the Pacers firing their head coach after 1 year?
A little premature.
Okay.
A little premature, I think.
I don't know. It depends on how bad they were.
I don't think they were that bad. I think Indiana made the play-in tournament. Did they not? I think they played.
They did.
I think so, yeah. I think
Yeah.
they were the 10th seed. I don't know. I sometimes I think, it all depends on. I don't get to sit in team meetings, they could have had players come to them and say, hey, we don't like this guy. Get rid of him. We don't want to play for him. We don't want to work with him. He won't listen to us. We've all been there where we've been like, if we could just get our managers to sit down and listen to us, everything would be so much better. But they won't sit down and listen to us for nothing.
No.
So maybe he said something wrong in a meeting. Maybe they just didn't like his face that day and said, "Well, you're out of here. You're fired."
Yeah.
Could
I
be.
mean, you had a 6-season run in the playoffs, 6 straight years, and you did make the playing game this year. So I think maybe it was a little premature that he got fired. I mean, I'm not a Pacers fan anyway, but I don't think it was right. I think he got the short end of the stick here.
And if he's any good, he'll bounce back and be somewhere. I know there's Boston's looking for a head coach. Portland's looking for a head coach.
Yes.
So there's opportunities
I'm looking
there.
for a coach.
North Carolina's looking for a new Duke.
Yeah. Well, Duke has one. The assistant coach. He's going to take over Coach K next year.
Okay.
After Coach K. Yep.
I'm looking for a new coach.
Is that a done deal?
Yes. I'm looking
Everything
for a
but
new
on paper?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, I think they've already handed the reins to him. They already said that after
When Coach K hangs him up, he's going
Coach
to get
K
the
hangs
gig.
it up after the season.
They gave him the keys to the washroom already.
Yep.
I hear you. Yeah, but he's gonna be a guy on an incredibly short leash.
What?
Yeah, it's going to
With
be
all
tough shoes
Hey,
to fill.
I'm not envious of that guy.
Yeah.
He's got
I mean, I
big
think-
shoes to fill.
Anyway, they're looking for a new
Yeah.
coach. I was looking for a new head coach. I'm looking for a new head coach. You know, it's going all around.
Yeah, right. My head coaching budget is a peanut butter sandwich, so I don't think I'm gonna give anybody half pieces. I can offer you snacks. I got pixie sticks in the back seat if you want those.
No thanks for my diet.
You're on a diet, huh? I'm on a diet too. I'm on that seafood diet.
Seafood,
I see food and I eat it.
We can jump guys
once a week.
to Major League Baseball.
Yes.
Baseball.
To baseball.
Yes.
We are midway through. Well, we are just past the midway point in baseball. Here are the power rankings
Uh-oh.
via ESPN. You have number 1. You have the Tampa Bay Rays. Number 2 is the Chicago White Sox. Number 3 is the Giants. The Padres are
That's a
4.
surprise.
Dodgers are 5. The
Uh-huh.
Red Sox are 6. The
Oh.
A's are 7. Astros are 8. The Brewers are 9. The Cubs are 10.
That's
the
a
Mets
surprise.
are 11.
Yeah.
The Jays are 12. The Indians are 13. The Yankees are 14. The Braves are 15. The Cardinals are 16. The Royals are
That's a
17.
surprise.
The Phillies are 18. The Reds are 19. The Marlins are 20. The Mariners are 21. The Nationals are 22. The Angels are 23. The Twins are 24. The Tigers are 25. The Rockies are 26. The Rangers are 27. The Pirates are 28. The Orioles are 29. And bringing the rear up is the Arizona Diamondbacks at number 30 in the power rankings.
Well,
Somebody needs to check on Arizona and make sure that they know they have a baseball team still.
or the Orioles. You can only count one thing for sure. It's June, and the Orioles still suck.
And while you're at it, kick the Coyotes and see if they're still alive.
Yeah.
They're still there. Coyotes are still there. So they
Oh.
moved
I'm sorry.
to Quebec and become the Northeast. So
Yeah. Well, then again, the Roadrunners always. I mean, the Coyotes they always run into a Roadrunner, so that's a problem right there. Yeah.
Do you think Quebec gets it before Hartford?
yes,
Yes. Yes.
Quebec will get a team before Hartford.
Do you think
Yeah.
Hartford will?
I don't
Do you
see. I
think
don't
they would
see
ever
Hartford-
expand? Or
No, I don't. Think so.
No.
I think that was one and done for them.
do you think that Hartford? Well, could you see them moving the Panthers to Hartford if the Panthers fall back off and can't draw fans again?
That I can't tell you.
I
I
think
mean,
it's a tough area. You know, you got the Rangers on one side, you got the Bruins on the other. So, Hartford's kind of like lost in the background in the big
The
city.
shuffle, yeah.
Yeah.
Because Hartford, that's Connecticut, so it's not exactly, and they I'm sure that when the Whalers came in the league, most of the Hartford fans were already Bruins fans.
Or
Right.
or Rangers or Islanders.
Right. So I can see that.
what is what is
okay.
your guys' take on the whole pitchers manipulating baseball thing that's going
What a
on now
shock.
in baseball?
What a shock. I mean, really. One thing after another for baseball. Juice ball, using steroids, now this. I mean, really. Does it ever end?
Well,
No.
isn't it?
I don't really have. I don't have as much of a problem as I did with the steroids. I can, I've heard a lot of batters saying they want the pitchers to have a little bit of stick, so they can get a good grip on the ball, so they don't get hit by an 84-mile-an-hour splitter.
Mhm.
They don't get a shot in the ribs from a slip on an 84-mile-an-hour splitter.
Yeah.
Now, some of the stuff that they're doing, I don't know if you've ever watched Trevor Bauer's YouTube channel, but he's hilarious, and I love his YouTube channel.
Yeah, I've
So
heard
check him out. When he was talking about, he was in 2014. I was watching another video from somebody else when he was talking about they were showing his splits between 2014 and 2021,
Mhm.
and in 2014, 2015, and 2016, he never threw a ball over 3,000 revolutions per minute. Since 2017, he's thrown progressively more and more balls over 3,000 revolutions per minute. It just absolutely drops off the table. You can't hit a ball rotating 3,000.
Yeah,
It's just absolutely ridiculous. And, but I don't know. We've gotten to the point where we have true 3 outcome baseball. It's either a home run, a walk, or a strikeout. True 3 outcome. Home runs are up, strikeouts are up. People aren't and there's no hitting to all fields. It's going to take a decade or so for baseball to come back to what it was in the 80s and 90s, where you have guys that hit to all fields, hit with power to all fields, hit for contact. Because baseball coaching has to evolve again and re-evolve to where hitting is emphasizing small ball. Get them on, get them over, get them in. But that's not exciting. A 3-2 baseball game is boring as hell. Guys out there dealing and going, unless it's your guy. Like, if I'm watching Cardinals and Dodgers on a Sunday night, on Sunday Night Baseball, I don't want to watch a 1-0 pitcher's duel. I did air quotes, but you can't see that. Especially if the batters are just looking silly. If they're swinging at things, 6 inches out of the strike zone. It's one thing if a pitcher is absolutely dealing and he's catching all 4 corners and he's going up and down, he's inside, outside. But if you got batters that are throwing the bat at a pitch 6 inches off the plate and a foot in the dirt, that's not good. That's not good baseball to watch unless it's your pitcher. If you're watching, if it's the Rays or the Yankees or the Tigers and my guy is dealing, I'm on it. I'm all about it. But if I'm just a casual baseball fan flipping on Sunday Night Baseball and I want to watch a baseball game, I don't want to watch a 1-0, 2-1 game.
No. Especially or like those games don't score like into like late in the game or like go extra and it's still nothing. That is boring as hell.
Yeah.
Just real quick, guys. A minute and 15 seconds into Game 6. The Knights and the Avalanche are tied at 1. They both have a goal in the minute and 15 seconds into the first period.
All right.
That's been an insane series.
Yes.
That series has been utterly nuts.
Yeah.
Turning better than I thought it was going to be. I thought maybe Colorado was going to roll right past them.
And after the first 2 games, it looked like Colorado was just going to bump them.
Yeah.
But Vegas got to, it's something Scotty Bowman said, years and years and years ago, back in the early 2000s. He said, series ain't over until you lose a game at home. And Colorado got the first 2 games in Colorado.
Yep.
Vegas got the next 2 in Vegas, and then they won Game 5 in Colorado.
And now they have a chance to close it on the home ice.
Yeah.
And it's so tough to lose Game 6 and then come back and win Game 7.
Rangers did it.
Yeah. It's so tough.
The guarantee, remember?
Or Game 5. Yeah. Well, either one.
Yeah.
Losing Game 5. If you win Game 5 and then lose Game 6 and then you got to go back and win Game 7, it's so tough.
I know.
It is so difficult to win Game 7.
I mean, because, Game 6, well, you're down 3-2. Did you think you win? Oh, absolutely. I guarantee a win. And I thought, like, yeah, you're going to guarantee a win. How are you going to do that? I mean, really, that's got to be the most insane thing I think I've ever heard anybody say. Like, but he led up to it and then some because he scored 3 goals in like
Yep.
5 minutes. Like, yeah, I was coming from a graduation and it was going to the third period and they were still down 2-1. By the time I got home, I'm like, what the? Oh,
Yep.
He tied it up and he scored the hat trick. This I don't believe. This has got to be one of the greatest things I've ever seen. I almost dropped dead. And then game
that was 1994, right? Was that 94?
Game 7 overtime. Yes.
Nothing better than Game 7 overtime in the finals.
Double overtime, man. Double.
Against the Devils, right? They beat the Devils in that.
The Devils in that, yeah.
So you're a cross-state rival, actually, in that case.
Right.
Yeah.
That
was the conference finals.
Yeah. The Eastern finals all set up, though, because the Islanders beat the Bruins last night.
Yep.
A rematch of last year.
I've got Tampa in 7.
Yep. I agree.
Tampa and the Rangers on one side. And if all goes according to plan here, Montreal will face the Knights.
Yeah, which I know Montreal has been that Cinderella story this year.
Yeah.
I don't think they have enough firepower to get past Colorado or Vegas. Sorry, I mean, I don't mean to offend any people.
And Montreal, losing Jake Evans is a huge blow.
That's true. After that,
but I think that if Montreal wants to win the conference finals and represent Canada in the cup, they've got to play shutdown defense.
Yes.
Turn it into just a grind. Just everything. Keep everything to the outside. Don't let them have any skating room, and just hit them, and then hit them again, and then if they come up, hit them again, and just take the body the whole. In the first 2 games, try to split the first 2 games in Colorado or Vegas, and go home with a chance to get up 2-1, and then and now it's a series. Don't try to get into a track meet with them. Don't try to match them shot for shot. Grind it out, muddy up the waters. Chip and chase. Make sure that you're making the defenseman back check. Make them back check all night.
Yeah.
Carey Price will have to be outstanding too for Montreal.
And Carey, just make sure that Carey Price is,
Yep, himself.
Make sure that Carey can see everything.
Yep. I agree.
Block what shots you can and let the rest through, and he gets paid the big bucks. Let him do his job.
Yeah.
I like how the Islander fans last night were cheering, "We won Tampa."
Be careful what you wish for.
You may
just might get it.
Don't poke the bear. That's all I got to say.
I know, right? Yeah.
And don't feed him either.
Yeah. Right. And don't get him wet.
Yeah, no. Yep.
Especially a white teddy bear. Oh.
I think that I don't know what the Islanders can do to beat Tampa. Honestly,
they're a good defensive team, Bud, but Tampa Bay's got a lot of speed, and that's how you can beat a team. So
yep, they got the need for speed.
And Vasilevsky's been outstanding. I don't. That's where I think Tampa Bay really has a huge edge, is in the goaltending department. Nothing against Romanov, but it's a huge advantage. And if Vegas gets past Montreal, you have Fleury against Vasilevsky. Those are 2 finalists for the Vezina Trophy this year. So there you go. Doesn't get much better than that. If that's the case. Or Grubauer, who's also the other finalist for the Vezina Trophy, if he gets to play, against the Lightning in the Stanley Cup Finals. Again, I'm not trying to take anything away from Montreal. I just don't think they have enough firepower to hang with Vegas or with Colorado. And I know if they somehow do get past one of those two teams and say the Lightning do beat the Islanders, I don't think they have enough firepower to beat the Lightning either.
No, I don't think that.
I would hate to see a sweep in the Stanley Cup. I would. Seriously, I would hate to see a sweep. It shouldn't be that way. It's the two best teams. It should go at least 6 games, at least, like it did last year. But as you can see, the NHL did finally convince the Canadian border to open up to let Montreal play at home and to let either Vegas and or Colorado travel to Canada to play a hockey game so that they don't have to play all down here. But if Montreal gets eliminated, they won't have to worry. The Canadian border won't have to worry about that.
Right.
If Vegas beats them or Colorado beats them, then they won't have to worry about the Stanley Cup Finals crossing the border. So,
yeah, I did hear that they won't have to do quarantine when they come.
Right.
Either side's gonna have.
well, I heard that something today on the radio that it's all private jet, private everything. Where they can't talk to the media. Now, here's the question. Maybe you guys can answer this. Are they going to have a crowd in Montreal or no fans in attendance at all?
A small one.
At Bell Center?
I believe it'll be a small one.
Okay.
I think it'll be vaccinated healthcare workers like it was for the.
Okay. Toronto series?
Yeah. No contact with the fans.
And
No contact with the fans. Okay.
and they'll probably do all their. And they'll do all their media stuff via Skype or Zoom or whatever.
Yep. We'll be
No
all
Zoom. I hate Skype. Skype gives me a lot of problems. Skype almost destroyed my computer.
I don't. I much prefer Skype over Zoom, but that's just me.
I used to use Zoom. I used to use Zoom to run my my tomorrow night show when it was back on the other network. We used to run Zoom that way, and the only problem that I had with it is I actually had a producer. Some guy would come on and introduce me, start the show for me, and then end the show for me. I didn't have to do that. And then when there was a disagreement within the network, they let him go, and I'm like, okay, I'm out of here. And now I'm back with NGSC. So that's how that ended. That I came back.
I think I know who it was too. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm not going to name names.
Right.
We know somebody out. I don't talk to those people. The only one that I still talk to is Mark. But outside of anybody else in that network,
right?
I don't. So I'm not naming names. I'm not going to call anybody out because I'm not going to have them, come after me. I didn't say anything negative about him. So, I have some NCAA football news. Obviously, if you guys did see that, Alabama extended Nick Saban for another 3 years to the 2028 college football.
What a surprise!
That's not a shocker by any means in the imagination. That you got.
No.
I have a question. I have an article that I have to write, and I want to know because I can ask you guys, who do you think is going to win the national championship this year? Give me 3 or 4 teams that you think has an. Alabama obviously is one of them, but give me some surprises. Give me somebody that you don't think would be on that list. Give me somebody. Auburn. Okay, Auburn. All right. Okay. Doesn't have to be SEC. It could be any conference.
Right.
It could be Oregon. It could be.
Rutgers.
I'm gonna say the Trojans.
USC. Okay.
Let's see.
Yep.
All right.
UCF.
I'm gonna say Indiana.
USF.
Nah, not likely.
Sorry.
Not even close.
Sorry.
No, that's okay. No, that's all right. You said Indiana? Is that who you said? What, Indiana?
And Florida State.
Florida State. They're okay.
Okay.
There's a team that I don't think anyone had picked to be in the national championship.
Anyone
picture.
want to call Rutgers?
I have to write an article, so I'm just taking down some teams. I mean, FSU that's a kind of an interesting one because I don't think anyone's expecting them to even be there. So that would be cool. FSU, Indiana, USC. I like all of those. How about Cincinnati and the AAC? I mean, obviously they're not in the Power
they're
Five.
decent though. They're decent.
Would you?
If they had beaten Georgia last year, I'd say they could be. I'll take them as my fourth team, as your dark horse.
Dark horse, okay.
Shot.
Okay.
I think. No, I'm gonna go SC as my,
Right.
resurgent team. Indiana, because I like where the program is heading. Florida State as my dark horse, and Cincinnati as my long shot.
Okay. I mean, that would be no problem writing an article. Obviously, Alabama would be the favorite, so I'm going to put them in there. But I mean,
I was trying to go with. I was going outside of your standard, your traditional over the last decade, the teams that you were, because you can say Alabama, Ohio State, Clemson, and then who's your fourth?
Well, and I heard Lewis say Auburn. I mean, I could put Auburn in there too.
Yeah.
They could be
Auburn was a team I was thinking, but I don't know if they've done enough to be contenders this year.
How about Florida?
I
How about the Gators?
I expect the Gators to take a step back this year.
Okay.
Honestly, losing Kyle Trask and the other Kyle
Pitts,
and Pitts, and then they lost a receiver too.
Yeah.
They lost Tony. They lost. They lost a bunch of guys.
Yeah. And it was the pitch.
And then they had a lot of defensive turnover. So I expect them to be a 9-3 kind of team this year.
Yeah.
That's not bad.
But it's not Florida standard though.
I mean, they've been 10-2 the past few seasons, other than they lost LSU because of a bonehead throwing a shoe penalty. They had that.
Dumb.
Then in the Oklahoma game, the bowl game, half the team was going to the National Football League and sat out. So that, took care of that issue.
Trask was awful.
Real quick, guys, did you see that the college football playoff wants to possibly move to 12 teams?
12 teams.
Yeah, they're kicking that around. They'll take that up to the next Wednesday.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that would be when that would. Have you seen? I didn't read the article. I just saw the headline. Do you know when that would take effect if they ratified that?
Let me see, Bud, real quick. I just had that thing up here. Let me bring it back up real quick. Now, this is from thescore.com. It says momentum to expand the college football playoff is building in a 12-team format. Meetings will be held. The schedule in July. They're not expected to expand until after the 2025 season. So that's another 4 years. Another 4 years of 4 teams before they would move it to the 15 in the 2025-2026 NCAA football season would be I'm sorry. It would be the 2026 season because they don't go past the new year for bowl games. So yeah.
You would still be relatively young. I'll be 55 years old by then.
I kind of figured it wouldn't be anytime soon. And I think it's premature to go from 4 to 12. I think you want to step it up to like 6 and then 8.
Yeah.
And then if you find if 8's not enough, then you can go to 12.
Right.
But honestly, I wouldn't go. I think that's too much too soon.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, you gotta build it up.
Yeah, I can't. I
basically water it down too, because some of those bowl
Yeah.
games, you get like like the 6 and 6 teams and 5 and 7, which is something that they don't want, and that's why they went to overtime in the first place, because they thought they would get more teams with at least a 500
Better records.
Yeah, so because there was, before that happened, there was a team that went to a bowl game when their record was 4-5-2, if I'm not mistaken. Not worthy of going to a bowl game. So they thought, well, if we get overtime, we'll have a clear winner. I don't have to worry about this nonsense. But obviously,
Right.
it hasn't worked in recent years, because they're still getting teams that get in with 5 and 7 or whatever, and so you just
Six.
defeat the whole purpose anyway.
It takes
6 and 6.
Yeah,
Unless you get an invite.
right.
Right.
That's correct.
Well, they should do it anyway.
I just think that I think the 8 teams would be plenty. You take the top 8 teams, seed them 1 through 8. 1 plays 8, 2 plays 7, 3 plays 6, and 4 and 5.
Right.
And then you start your tournament at the start of the bowl season. You still have all your made for TV bowls on the Honolulu Bowl on Wednesday, December 23rd or whatever. And you have your big games. We did talk about that at one. We talked about that during college basketball tournament, about them having the championship game on Monday.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
How do you guys feel about that? Because I hate it.
You mean the college football playoff game being on a Monday night?
The championship game, the final game.
Well, they have the college basketball Monday night, so I don't see
Yeah.
what the big problem is with having the college football game on Monday night. You can't do it on Sunday because they got the playoffs on that, so you can't.
They
compete
can't,
that.
they can't play it on Saturday because of the NFL playoff.
No, you can't. So
Yeah.
Monday night
I just hate it being on Monday night because I can't stay up till 11 or 12 to watch the end of it.
I get it, yeah. But I mean,
If they're gonna have it on Monday night, can we start it at before 8 or 9 o'clock though?
that's legit.
How about a 7 o'clock kickoff instead of 8 o'clock?
Yeah, 7:15 would be fine with me.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we can go ahead and start talking about that from here until the time comes. And if he's somebody in the NCAA will listen. Make
Yeah,
the
right?
championship game at 7. Get our cards
Yeah.
out there. Have them listen to our show. Have the kickoff at 7:15 instead of 8:15.
Yeah.
The national championship game kickoff.
Yeah, but then the West Coast is going to complain, oh, you started the game too early. I missed the first out because I was at work. Yeah, dirty, no good.
And see, there's where it factors in why it's at 8:15 because 5:15 on the West Coast. That's why. If you started at 7:15, it'll be 4 o'clock. They're like,
Right.
oh, we can't even off work yet. We can't watch it. So that's
But
what
then
they'll say.
Too bad.
Hawaii too, maybe they'll start 11 o'clock and like, well, at least because I live in Hawaii and so at least we'll start. At least I won't miss the game. We'll come up at work, But that's not fair to us because we got to get up there. It's a no-win situation when you really look at it. It really is.
And that's why they should move the game back to Saturday.
The only problem is you run into the NFL playoffs,
Yeah.
divisional round. So that's the only issue. Because I agree, you play every other college football game on a Saturday. Most of them are on Saturdays.
Yeah.
Yep.
Couple Friday games, couple Thursday games, but other than that, the major guys play on Saturday. Why not have the national championship game on a Saturday night at 8 o'clock? You want to do it then?
Why not Saturday? Why not do it at like 3:30?
Sure.
I can do that too. I mean, or
5 o'clock.
The Florida USF game, the opening day for USF starts at noon. It's going to be a noon kickoff, so I'll be at the stadium early.
Years ago, when the Wings were, they used to have 7 o'clock tip off or puck drop in Detroit,
Yeah.
and the game wouldn't get on Sunday night. It would be a 7:30 puck drop. Well, the fans were like, by the time the game gets over, I'm going home. I got to work on Monday. I got to be, I got to get home, get to bed, get up by, somewhere between 5 and 7. Get to work. So the Wings said, okay, we get that. And the business owners were like, nobody comes out to the bars. everybody goes home. You know, you got 20,000 people downtown, and you might get 1,000 people that stick around. They're like, okay, what can we do here? So they went to the league, and the league approved them to move to move puck drop up to 5 o'clock. So the game's getting over at 7:30, 8 o'clock.
Yeah.
You know, if the game goes late, you know, if you have an overtime game, you know, a shootout that goes the full distance, well, the game's only getting over at 8 o'clock. People can stay out for a couple more hours. And so I don't understand, you know, why not play it at 5 o'clock on Saturday afternoon in between the NFL, you know, the NFL first game, you know, get the NFL, you know, everybody coordinate that. The NFL kicks off at noon or 1 o'clock. The NFL gets over. We go, boom, go right into the college playoff game. That gets over. Boom, go into the nightcap with the NFL. Maybe the NFL starts at 8:30 instead of 8 o'clock. Because then you avoid that situation where on Monday night, where, you know, most people don't have to work Saturdays, or a lot of people don't have to work Saturdays. And so then you avoid that situation where you have a lot of people working, and then, you know, people aren't getting out of work at 5 o'clock. You know, people are already out of work. And then you don't have that people like me who've got to be up at, you know, 5 o'clock in the morning to get to work. I can just, you know, I can sit back and enjoy the whole game.
Mm-hmm.
So to me, I think that would be the perfect solution, to start the national championship game at 5 o'clock.
I don't think that would be a problem. I mean, we'd have to wait and see how that goes, but it won't be a problem to me if that was, you know, if that was the case, you know. So, yeah. Oh, leopard.
Wrong lever.
The last topic we could talk about is the NFL. Obviously, the big news. Obviously, training camp has started with everybody. It seems like if Aaron Rodgers does not play this year for the Packers, he could lose $35 million, and it's currently dividing the fan base in Green Bay. I don't see him playing in a Green Bay Packer uniform, but that's just me.
I don't either.
I just, how ugly it is right now in Green Bay for him, I don't see that happening.
Neither do I. I think he will probably sit out this year and then go somewhere else next year.
Yep, I would.
If he has the housing job at Jeopardy, he'll have nothing to worry about.
Right?
Either that or he goes to Denver. One of the two.
Yeah.
He might get shipped to Denver.
You know, that would be the only other thing he could do would be to get traded to Denver. But then again, what are they gonna demand back?
Yeah.
Green Bay want to pick back, and they did 3 first-round picks. I mean, how many picks are you going to want in return for him? So
all the picks, man.
Yeah, 3 number 1s, 2 number 2s. How many picks are you going to have to give up for farm?
And is he worth it? Is an aging Aaron Rodgers worth 3 first-round picks?
Yeah, giving up the farm basically. In reality,
mortgaging the farm for the now, and with Denver, I don't think they have enough pieces there that he can come in, start, and win a championship right away.
Right. No, I agree. Excuse me.
So, and we've talked about that before. Any team with assets that needs a quarterback isn't giving those assets up, and any team without assets or a quarterback doesn't have anything to give up.
Yeah. It also it looks like too in NFL news that Russell Wilson denies requesting a trade from Seattle. That's interesting.
Yes, I thought he had.
Me too. I thought he had also done that as well. Yeah. So, Tyler,
I guess things are not as
Yep.
bleak in Seattle as it originally seemed.
True. Yep. Absolutely. Yep.
I thought that things were a lot rockier in Seattle than the way that everyone was talking. I thought that he wanted out.
It also looks like that Kyler Murray's still open to playing baseball.
Really?
Yep, what it says. Still open to playing baseball. And a couple other things is Bruce Arians says vaccination is the way to get back to normal. And Julio Jones says pick your poison with the Titans offense.
Uh-huh.
So
I'm getting my first shot on Sunday.
that's cool. Oh,
Yeah.
The Knights are up 2-1 in this first period.
Uh-huh.
They just took the lead back. So if they hold the lead for the rest of the game, then they're going to be staying right where they're at because they'll be.
We can start the conference finals early. I mean, well, the semifinals early.
Well, because that's the question too: is when is it going to start? Is it going to start this weekend? Is it going to start Saturday, Sunday, Monday?
I don't know if it would start. I think maybe it would start. Well, the East might start Saturday, but I think the West might not start till. If they win tonight, I don't think they'll start till Sunday.
Okay.
You gotta give them, I think, 2 days rest.
I don't see why that would be a problem.
It's a league decision, though. Nothing's been determined yet. I mean, we'll have to wait and see what happens. You know,
right? Yeah.
It's a league decision, though. But I think, because you can't have both conference finals in the same day. That's just wrong.
Because at that point, Lewis, you would be rushing through it. You got to have one day out. So if the Islanders Lightning start on Sunday, the Knights and the Canadians, or the Avalanche and the Canadians, will start on Monday or Tuesday. Right. They'll space it out enough to where it'll be every couple of days you'll have a game, which actually is good because it gives the players a chance to rest. That it's not back-to-back nights or every.
No, but at the same time, I mean that it's. Look where we are in the year right now. I mean, playing hockey in July is a little weird, to be honest with you. And
true.
And who knows with the ice conditions are probably going to be horrendous. Because
I would think that. Well, depending on the buildings, I don't think you'd have too many problems in Vegas.
Well, think about when we had that 5 overtime game last August. I mean, that was I don't think anyone wants to see another repeat of that. So, get it over with. And, just think of though, fireworks and ice hockey. Interesting.
That sounds good to me, but I know it's very weird to throw those two together.
Well, because most people associate 4th of July with baseball, not hockey.
Correct. Yes, absolutely. My favorite sports movie, The Sandlot, they played a night game on 4th of July, so that's why. It's pretty cool how they play a night game on the 4th of July. It's the only night game of the year that they play. So, yeah. But, yeah, it's you're right. Usually you would see a baseball with the 4th of July because that's usually the sport. That's the only sport outside of usually the NBA is over. Is the NBA still going on July, right?
No, not usually. No.
Okay, so they're done too.
Usually around Father's Day it ends.
Okay, got you. Okay, which is actually next week. There you go.
Hockey is mostly associated with, let's just say about President's Day.
Okay, gotcha. Right.
Thanksgiving is football.
Yes.
Christmas with the NBA.
Christmas is the NBA. Absolutely. Yep.
Midget wrestling is I think Labor Day. Why don't you guys shut me up?
Yeah, that's okay.
Dodgeball is. I
wish dodgeball was a sport, a major sport. It would be interesting.
Dodgeball is Easter, I think.
Have it on ESPN 8 The Ocho. That would be cool.
Yeah. Which also was the host.
Well, speaking of that, he got knocked out. I guess he didn't look that bad in his professional boxing debut, from what I heard on the radio. That he didn't do too bad. I didn't see the highlights or anything, but
Good.
So, I don't know.
Yeah.
So, but it's 2-1 right now, and there's 33 seconds left in period one. So there's a half minute left. I'm going to change it back. I was watching the Red Sox and Astros, and Houston's up 8-7. Altuve just hit a home run into the green, into the seats in the Green Monster. So, but it's what I find fascinating is you look now we're in June. Last year there were no fans allowed. Now you look at all the ballparks around the country and you can barely find an empty seat. So everyone's coming back out to watch their respective teams.
Yes.
I know. I mean, there's a YouTube channel that I watch. Zach Hampel. He's a baseball, goes and catches baseballs at all these ballparks and stuff. And he went to 4 games in one day. He went to a day-night doubleheader at Citi Field and a day-night doubleheader at Yankee Stadium. So now again, they're only 7 innings, guys. Remember now.
Right.
Doubleheaders are only 7 innings.
But when you factor in how long it takes to get there, I mean, how'd you do it?
So he did this. He saw the whole first game with the Mets. In the 4th inning of Game 2, he left, ran out of Citi Field, because, again, he's holding his cell phone, ran out of Citi Field, caught the subway, took 3 trains to get from Citi Field to Yankee Stadium, and got there in the 4th inning of Game 1 and watched the whole part of the whole game of Game 2. So it was interesting.
It was in the same city. Oh, okay.
Yeah, he went from Citi Field to Yankee Stadium. Yep.
Okay. I thought he was going from Chicago to New York.
Oh, yeah. If he went from Chicago to New York, that would be interesting how quick he'd have to do that.
Yeah.
It
takes 3 hours by plane to get from Chicago to New York, so I was wondering how he'd all do that.
Yeah, no, he was at Citi Field and then he left, hit the train.
Okay, now I get it.
Because he said in the video, he said, I was offered rides from Citi Field to Yankee Stadium. He said, I turned it down. He goes, I wanted to ride the subway. He said it took him 35 minutes to get from Citi Field to Yankee Stadium via public transportation. So, not bad. I mean, you can get across the city of New York in 35 minutes. I'd be pretty happy with that, too.
Driving.
Because I was in Queens for a week. So I know what in New York, I don't think you need to drive. You could just take public transportation everywhere. That's how I look at it. Yeah. That's how I see it. I don't know why you want to own a car in that city.
Or Los Angeles, for that matter.
Yeah, I don't know why you want to have a car in that city, but that's just me. Well, guys, we are at the end of the show. Does anybody want to talk about any final thoughts, any things that we missed?
We did cover Julio Jones, right?
Yes, Julio Jones. Yep.
Yeah, I just want to know. I'll ask on Saturday.
I
think it's a good deal or a bad deal. So I'll be asking that.
Good deal.
I think it's a good deal for Tennessee.
I think so.
Hey, I don't know if you heard me because I was heading. I think it's a good deal for both teams. I like it.
Oh. Okay.
So when is Game 7? If there is a Game 7, is that tomorrow night?
You're talking about the Avalanche and the Knights?
Yeah.
No. Either Saturday or Sunday.
It'll be a Saturday game most likely, if anything. They'll skip tomorrow night.
Okay. So then Game 1 would probably be at the earliest Monday.
Yes.
Yeah.
So Game 1 for the East would probably be Sunday. Then Game 1 for the West would be Monday, if there's a Game 7.
Correct.
Yes.
So then, if there is no Game 7, if the Vegas closes it out tonight, then you might, Then they might move the West up or the East up to Saturday, and have the West on Sunday.
Yeah.
Sunday.
Yes, that's what we'll probably do.
Either.
And just like that, the Red Sox have tied the game.
Yeah.
On a drop, on the outfielder dropped the ball, and in right field he dropped the ball.
Dumbass.
Sure out, and he dropped the ball. So,
Dope.
but he, I think if anything, it'll be Monday. It'll be Sunday or Monday for the Islanders and the Lightning to start up. I would imagine, depending on right. I'm guessing if the Avalanche come back and win the game, because they're down 2-1, if they come back and win, that'll be a Saturday game, which means it'll probably be Monday game 1 and then Tuesday game 1 for that series, whoever it might be, whoever if it's Montreal obviously is waiting in the wings for. The interesting part is if Montreal wins, somehow beats the Avalanche and or the Knights, you'd have 2 Eastern Conference teams in the Stanley Cup Finals.
Last time happened was back in 1980.
Montreal is an Eastern Conference team, so it would be interesting to see.
That's happened for 40 years. And when was the last time that happened?
Who was in the finals when it happened?
I want to see if you know, because I do know.
80. Was it the Islanders? It was one of them.
The Islanders. Oh, shit.
Edmonton?
Nope.
No. Oh, Edmonton. No. Never mind. I can't. That's
the West Coast team.
That's a West Coast team. The Islanders, I know are East Coast, so it has to be another. Is it Boston?
No, but you're getting better.
Getting closer. Okay. It wasn't the Rangers, was it? They didn't play.
No.
Okay.
No.
But you're getting better.
Is it? It wouldn't have been the Red Wings because they had
Philadelphia.
Oh, the Flyers. Okay.
Philadelphia Flyers.
How did that happen? Why
Well,
did the Flyers?
Remember, they didn't go to that 1-8 in the conference stuff until later on. So they were still, it was like interdivision the first round, and it's like so discombobulated. That's when we started first getting into hockey anyway. And that was one of the first games I saw. And Bobby Nystrom, 6 minutes or 5 minutes into the first overtime, he hits a rocket shot, and Islanders won their first Stanley Cup, the first of 4 straight. And they haven't done jack since.
Yep, 80, 81, 82, and 83. The year I was born was the last year they won the Cups.
Yep, and Edmonton took over from there.
Yep, correct.
Yep.
Oilers carried what? And they won in 84. Who else? They win. Edmonton win back-to-back or just?
Yes, they did. Yes, 84, 85, 89, 84. I think they won 5.
89 was Edmonton. It was Calgary.
But remember, Gretzky left in 88, so they won without him.
In 90, they won again without him.
Yeah, but Messier was still there, so he won 6 cups.
Okay.
Yeah.
He won what? One with the Rangers, or did he win 2?
94.
Okay.
But he went to the conference finals in 97. He won 6 cups. 5 with Edmonton, and the 6th one.
He was there because Gretzky only won 4. He was still there in 90 when they won it all again.
No, Gretzky left in 88.
To the Kings? He traded to the Kings in 88,
No,
right?
Gretzky left in 88 to go to the Kings.
Yeah.
Messier was still there in 90 when they won it all.
Right.
With Curry.
Did Gretzky never won in LA, right?
No, he never won another cup.
No. They lost to Montreal in
93. Yep.
Okay.
5 games.
The last time the Canadian team won the Stanley Cup.
Yep.
Montreal beat when McSorley had the illegal stick.
Mm-hmm. Close to anybody. Close to
2. Oh my goodness!
Uh-oh.
He dropped it too.
And the wheels fall off.
Correa dropped the ball.
Oh.
Wow.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Sad. All right.
Infield flat roll was in play, and they called Devers out.
Yep.
All right, gentlemen. Well, I'm going to go ahead and
dance on a drop ball.
close.
All right, and then
Close out the show. Thanks again, guys. This has been the Walker Report. I am the Sportster, Brad Walker. We are part of In the Zone Sports Talk Radio. If you want to get some gear, head over to squadlocker.com, type in the Zone Sports Talk Radio for the Zone Gear store where you can purchase any of the gear that we represent. We are also sponsored by creatingzenspaces.com, the local choice in St. Petersburg, Florida for house cleaning, organization, decluttering, and pet sitting. It's about finding the peace within you and adding comfort to your life. And remember, guys, Zen Spaces begins with you. Be kind to yourself and one another. And, guys, if you missed this show in its entirety, head over to our YouTube channel, The Sportster Bradley Walker, where we have this show in its entirety over there. But that's it. Before I go, let me give my co-hosts a chance to introduce their shows that are coming up later this week.
All right. Enhanced Sports Show, Saturday, 5 to 7 p.m. That's East Coast time. Number to call is 512-543-4662. We got the playoffs this week. We'll also cover Major League Baseball, the College World Series. We'll wrap up with the Women's Softball Series. We'll also discuss with the NBA regular season awards. That would, I think, you'll find some very interesting choices there. We'll recap the Belmont. So if you got time between 5 and 7 Saturday, give a call. I'd love to hear from you. On that note, I will say good night.
Okay. Adam?
the unscripted will be taking a week off this week because I'm going on a much-needed mini vacation this weekend. So hopefully I'll be back next Saturday, 10 to noon, on my YouTube channel at a Mangold. So come check me out there. It's unscripted, uncensored, so anything and everything goes. If that's your kind of thing, come on by.
Cool. And guys, thank you again to my two awesome co-hosts. I will be back on the air tomorrow night on the Sunshine State Sports Chapter, which is an all Florida sports podcast. I'm sure that Lewis will be on with me tomorrow as he pops in every once in a while. And Chris, the guy from Coast to Coast Entertainment, will probably also be on my show tomorrow night as well. But then, guys, I just want to say everyone out there, hopefully everyone out there staying safe. Hopefully you're out there getting vaccinated, as it looks like everyone is starting to get back to what normal life was, as I've seen people not wearing a mask, seeing people in sporting events, like I'm watching the Red Sox-Astros game right now, and Fenway Park looks pretty full. Not to its capacity, but pretty damn close with all those people. I know at Yankee Stadium, they have a vaccinated seating area, so only vaccinated people can sit in that area. So again, there are some benefits, guys, to getting vaccinated, obviously, for yourself, for your health, and stuff like that. But as I always do, guys, thank you to everyone that tuned in, whether you were here just for a second. Thank you for that. Again, the show will be on YouTube probably this evening or by tomorrow. I got to do a better job of getting it, sharing the show out on Facebook and all that too. But anyway, guys, our views have been getting up, so I want to appreciate everyone for doing what they do. Also to the first responders, doctors and nurses, thank you guys for doing what you did, getting us back to normal. Obviously, without you, we wouldn't be getting back to normal with the vaccine and all that stuff. To the men and women of our armed services, both active, retired, and the ones who have left us, thank you for your sacrifice, guys. We couldn't be here without you, what you guys do. And to the police officers, firefighters, and paramedics, thank you for doing what you do as well. But, guys, we're going to check out of here. I was going to take a week off, but due to the fact that the U.S. Open is next week, I'm going to delay that another week. So I'm going to do the week of Father's Day, I think. It would probably be the 24th that I take off. And the reason why is I have a new roommate moving in either on the 26th or 27th. So I'm going to take that whole week off to kind of get everything set up, do last-minute stuff just in case, with that. But we will be back, guys, next week because the U.S. Open will start on this show next week. We'll be talking about round one of the U.S. Open. But until then, guys, everyone stay safe out there. If you haven't been vaccinated and you would like to, please go there as soon as you can to do that. I'll see you guys tomorrow night. Peace.